morning and welcome to VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner, Monday the 27th of January. And morning, Paul. How are we doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Fine. Just hope the rain stays away, but it doesn't look like it will.
It wasn't a bad weekend. I got in 2 tennis matches, so can't complain. And I'm off to, obviously, Johannesburg later on in the week. But look, there's not a lot of news out this morning, particularly. Let's start with AIM Credit, Guardian Metal Resources. It's quite interesting. They've completed and signed the deal on the Nevada tungsten project, haven't they, Paul?
Yes, they have completed due diligence and now have taken up an option with the Hickonite Resources to work on and assess the former producing Tempaiu tungsten mine, which is in southern Nevada, north of Las Vegas. It was a historic producer up to about 30 years ago. And the option terms were that they pay $50,000 cash a year, they pay 150,000 shares, they grant the vendor a 1.5% royalty, and they must define a new compliant resource grading at least 0.4% tungsten trioxide within 3 years. Should be able to do something with this. The mine would have closed due to the depressed pricing at the time rather than having to run out of defined mineralization. So it's a question on this case, I think, of just demonstrating whether or not Guardian, besides being an explorer, is also a mine redeveloper.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to us, perhaps partially because it's in tungsten, and I would say that we're quite clued up, for want of a better word, in the tungsten market. So it'd be quite interesting to actually sort of meet them. I know Mark Burnett at RAB is a non-exec, but I don't think we know any of the others, do we?
I don't believe so, no.
Well, there you go. If somebody from Guardian Metal Resources is listening this morning, you might want to come have a little word with us because we're quite good at tungsten. All right, let's one that sadly hardly ever trades, but Altyn Gold, which actually seems to be producing gold pretty nicely now. They had a production statement, I think, today.
Yes, they did, except for a couple of minor things like a small decline in fourth quarter poured gold and a very small decline in milled grade for the year. Everything else definitely improved and in the plus column here. For Altyn, the full year revenue reached $30 million for a rise of 46% year on year. Or excuse me, that was for the fourth quarter, and then for the full year, $94.5 million. Production of gold came higher by 14% year on year, and for this is for gold ore, I should say, at 209,000 tons, and exceeded the annual run rate of the capacity of the mine of 800,000 tons. So the company itself is pushing such that they have guidance that they would like to get up to a production rate where they are producing in excess of 50,000 ounces a year. So this is part of what they're pushing for. They had also expanded the tails facility during the year, which was important to be able to reach the new run and production rates. So no lost time injuries either. It's been a nice, safe operation. Remember, it is an underground mine and has an average grade about 2.26 grams gold per ton. So it seems to be operating very nicely at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it had quite a long time sort of struggling to get any traction. I mean, the stock price actually in 2024 did perform pretty well. And it's up at 250p a day. So, I guess it's not widely held in the UK, but it's actually quite a good gold mine. It's a shame in a way that it's not more widely held. But there you go. What else you got, Paul?
Yeah, we had ASX listed lithium producer IGO announced on Friday that they had agreed with their JV partner TNK Lithium that they would cease all works toward the completion of Plant 2 of lithium hydroxide plant in West Australia, and this because they are having difficulties in processing or initial processing there, and also the very weak lithium markets at this point in time. They just don't feel that it's good spending for money in this kind of a lithium environment at the time.
Yep. Okay. Anything else?
Real quickly, just to say that Orezone Gold, the Burkina Faso gold producer, put out some more drilling results on their Bombore gold mine in Burkina Faso. We end up seeing less and less news from Burkina Faso because of its decline in investor interest in that particular country in recent months here. But Orezone working quite nicely still on Bombore. Nice thick widths in the drill assays coming back of tens of meters at right at between 1 and 2 grams per ton. It is an operating mine, and these results coming from the north zone of the deposit. So it's obvious that they are defining additional ore and additional mine life as they proceed here.
Very good. All right, we'll call it a day there, Paul. Thanks. Back tomorrow.
Very good.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.